Welcome back, Shae Squad, to Shae's Pep Talk Rally Show. I'm your host, Shae, and today we're diving into a topic that doesn't always get talked about: desperation. Desperation is a heavy feeling, and it's that moment when you feel like the walls are closing in and you're out of options, right? But here's the thing: desperation doesn't have to control your life. And in fact, it can be a powerful catalyst for growth if you know how to handle it. So today we're going to talk about how to navigate those feelings of desperation, turn them into opportunities, and come out on the other side stronger and more focused than before. Let's rally. First, let's really understand what desperation is and why it happens. Desperation usually comes from a place of feeling trapped, overwhelmed, or out of control. And it's like this inner alarm that goes off when we feel like we've hit rock bottom or we're really close to it. And when we're desperate, our judgment can be clouded, and it's easy to make decisions that are not in our best interest. Desperation can push us to act impulsively, thinking that any action is better than none. But here's the truth: not every action is going to lead you to a better place. We need to pause, breathe, and take control. Now, let's talk about how we can transform desperation into something positive. It starts with pausing. Yes, just pause. When you feel desperate, it's important to stop and catch your breath. Desperation is a reaction, and reactions don't always lead to the best results. And instead of reacting, let's choose to reflect. Take a moment to ask yourself, what's truly causing this feeling? What am I afraid of? Once you've identified the root cause, you can start to see the situation more clearly. That's the goal. This is also where reframing comes in. Instead of seeing desperation as something negative, let's look at it as a wake-up call, an opportunity to make a change. Desperation can reveal what we value most and what we need to focus on. And it's a sign that something isn't right, but it doesn't mean everything is wrong. Shifting your perspective from panic to possibility can change everything. One of the hardest things about feeling desperate is that it's hard to think clearly. But clarity can be found even in those tough moments. One of my favorite techniques is journaling. And when you're feeling desperate, write down what you're experiencing in that moment. Get all those emotions onto paper, and you'll be surprised how much more clarity you gain when you start putting words to your feelings. Another way to find clarity is by talking to someone you trust. Sometimes we just need a sounding board, someone who can listen and help us to see things that we might be missing. Whether it's a friend, family member, or a coach, having someone else's perspective can make all the difference. Let's talk about turning that desperation into growth. Start by setting small, manageable goals. Okay? Desperation often comes from feeling like we're in a huge mess, but we don't have to fix everything all at once. Focus on one thing that you can do right now, today, to move in a better direction. Small wins add up, and each one gives you a little more control and a little more confidence. Another step is creating a support system. Desperation can make us feel isolated, but you don't have to go through it alone. Reach out to those people who lift you up, who remind you of who you are, and sometimes just knowing that you have people on your side can shift your mindset. There was a time in my life when I felt completely desperate, like all the walls were closing in. It was so overwhelming that I couldn't see a way out. And instead of making a quick decision just to feel like I was doing something, I took a step back, I wrote down everything I was feeling, and I reached out to a friend. It wasn't easy because in those moments you feel like you have to be vulnerable, and that can be difficult for us too. But it helped me to see my situation with fresh eyes. And that moment taught me that desperation doesn't mean that it's over. It's a signal to regroup, rethink, and take purposeful steps forward. And that's what I want you to do. I'm challenging you to do the same. So now it's your turn. If you're feeling desperate or overwhelmed right now, or even if you come to a time and point in your life, right? Maybe this message is for a later season for you. I encourage you to pause, reflect, and ask yourself what this moment might be teaching you. Set one small goal that you can accomplish today, something that moves you just a little bit closer to where you want to be. And remember, you don't have to solve everything at once. Just take it one step at a time. And I challenge you to think about who you can reach out to today. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's family, or maybe it's someone who has been through a similar experience. But you are not alone. And the first step to navigating desperation is reaching out to your support for that support. All right. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Shae's Pep Talk Rally Show. Remember, desperation may feel like a breaking point, but it can also be a turning point. And that's what I want to get you guys to really, really recognize, is that it's all about our perspective and the lens that we're looking at our different challenges that we will face, because life will do what life has always done. And when you choose to see it as an opportunity for growth, you're already shifting your life in a positive direction. Keep taking those small steps, lean into your support system, and believe that better days are ahead. If you found this episode helpful, please, please, please share it with someone who might need a little pep talk. And don't forget to subscribe, Shae Squad. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, remember, you're stronger than you think, and you're never alone. Let's rally together and rise above. Don't stop. Don't settle. Keep stepping.